In the last year and a bit, I have gone from a complete degenerate in university that smoked the ganja and partied all the time, to now someone that is traveling the world, actually making money online, and pursuing my dreams. If I was to go back in time and have a conversation with my previous self, here's exactly what I would say. So the first thing is go deep with stuff. Stop giving up when stuff gets tough for the very first time. So I've literally tried so many different things. I've tried being a vlogger, I've done coaching in the past, and all of it right when it starts to get tough, I just go, nah. But I'm literally just foregoing all of the time that I've already put into it and be compounding results that would happen if I would stick to it. Next, if you don't enjoy something, stop doing it. A good example is, if you don't like a movie, you would stop watching it. But this thing doesn't apply to university. For some reason, everyone thinks that you need to go through a university degree because that's the only way to be successful. And I wish instead I took a year off between high school and university and pursued my passions in UI UX and becoming a YouTuber. And just lived with my parents. Yes, it would be tough, but just lived with them to basically just pursue that stuff. Yeah. Next, I would grab myself, shake me, and tell me that less is more and you need to stop being a part of hustle toxic culture. So when I was actually going from a degenerate, then going into the state that I am now, I had a phase where I was just grinding like crazy and I had no time for anything else that wasn't work related. Yeah, it just wasn't healthy at all. My relationships definitely struggled, and it's not a good idea. Look, we need time for rest and recovery, especially when it comes to sleep, right? Like when you're actually sleeping, you're taking all of the new information that you learned that day and connecting it in new interesting ways with all the existing knowledge you have. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, please be sure to smash the like button down below. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm and I would really appreciate it. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we only have one body. Warren Buffett talks about this a little bit as well, and he gives an example of cars. Oftentimes we have a car and say 5-10 years, maybe we don't take really good care of it and we just go get a next car. You can't do that with your body. You have one vehicle for your entire life. If you treat it like shit, unfortunately, it's gonna break and you're just gonna feel like crap. Again, rest and recovery and self-care is so freaking important. I didn't understand this before. I was just, again, if I wanted to make money, I was grinding, or if I wasn't grinding, I was just being a degen and just numbing my brain out. So again, just sleep and stress management and exercise are all very important things. And if there's not enough time for these things to take care of yourself, you need to learn how to start saying no to things and creating more open space, because time spent taking care of yourself is some of the best time that you'll spend in your life. Next up, stop binge drinking. Like, this is so much time, our finite time on earth, that we're going out and basically just wasting it away. Don't get me wrong, partying here and there, I think is awesome. With the right people, I think is very special and should be done. But every single weekend, I don't know about that. It's a really big waste of time. It's not just the night itself, but the next day and all of the time to actually recover, especially if you're doing 2 spurts in a row, like going out on Friday and Saturday. That's a really big toll on yourself. You're not really gonna be recovered, at least myself speaking, until like Tuesday, where I can actually perform and think at my best level. So that's just literally a bunch of days, just completely gone and wasted. I think it's much better to spend that time pursuing a passion project, like learning how to paint, for example, or learning or spending time with your friends. Again, just be mindful of where your time's actually going. Considering how you're spending your time, try to add mindfulness into there. It can be through guided meditation. I personally use the Waking Up app. I'll put up a review here. I made a video on that, but it doesn't have to be just that. It can be a lot of other apps. I would just recommend looking into the thing and start testing around and seeing what works for your specific self. What's lovely about this is in every single moment, I'm able to actually be present instead of being just lost in thoughts and thinking about all these other things, so I can be better to myself and the people that I love. Then we've got just start. Like, literally start right now. Pause the video, just go do it. The reason why is you will keep planning and procrastinating and pushing it back into the future, and you'll just never do it. It doesn't matter how good your idea is. If you have zero execution, it just never comes into fruition. At the same time, oftentimes we stunt ourselves from even starting because we're thinking about steps 2 all the way to 100 instead of just step 1. If we make step 1 really easy and really approachable and we just do it right away, we actually can start on the whole progression towards getting towards our goal instead of, again, making it a dream. A really good example is, say for example you want to be a content creator, okay? A heavy lift is going to be making a YouTube video right now. You say you think you need all this big camera gear, just go make a video on your iPhone. That's what I was doing. I was making a video on my iPhone 5, even though I have essential tremors or my hands shake and the video footage sucked. Just go out and make it. Or even make it even simpler. Just go make a tweet and continue and do one the next day and the next day. And just don't make it perfect, just put in the reps. And on that note, perfection doesn't exist, and don't let it hold you back from doing the things that you want to do. It's much better to actually do multiple reps of something than to actually focus more time on making something more perfect. Because the state of being perfect is really subjective and can be different for me than it is for someone else. And striving towards that is literally impossible. You can spend a crap ton of time changing something from 90% to 91%. That's a 1% increase. Or you can spend your time on a new project and get it from 0 to 80% and ship that content and help a bunch of people. So a good idea, I think it comes from Seth Godin, is set a minimum standard for yourself. I would say 80% is a good idea. And once you get to that point, just ship the content to the people that you want to serve and just continue and continue. Each time, just try to focus on one singular thing that you want to improve. And over time, you'll have, for example, 100 different things that you improved, and you'll have a track record of all your stuff. This segues perfect into the next thing. While we're trying to improve a bunch of stuff, we're going to fail. And ideally, we want to fail faster. When we actually fail, we want to sit down and reflect and look into why we failed. What did we do? What could have we done better? And from there, we're again learning and ensuring that we're not doing that later, because we don't want to be crazy and essentially do the same thing hoping for a different output. Another thing that really rings home true to me is we want to be mindful of who we're asking for advice from. A good example is, say you have X idea and you go and ask your current friends that aren't entrepreneurs, haven't done any risky ventures before, what they think of the idea. Oftentimes they'll shut you down. One, because they're kind of jealous that they haven't executed and done the idea themselves. And two, they literally do think it's risky and they're trying to help you. They don't want you to make a bad decision. But the thing is with risk is actually a good thing, especially when you're young. It allows you to make various things that can have exponential results in your life. And the thing is, if you screw up, which is not a problem, again, fail faster, learn from those mistakes. If you do mess up, you have so much time left in your life to recover from those failures. Look at all the entrepreneurs out there. They weren't oftentimes successful on their very first startup. It was their 4th business or their 10th business that they're actually successful, and they were able to take all of the lessons from their failures that they learned to be successful. So just to summarize, be mindful of who you're asking advice from, and if you want to get advice from people that have done what you want to do, don't be scared to reach out. Like, oftentimes these people are a lot more generous and they want to help than we really think. Like, we make them out as like some unattainable person that's like scary, but like they have a lot of freedom and money, and like oftentimes they can empathize with the situation that you're in, and they really usually just want to help. So it never hurts to try. Next up, we've got learning doesn't have to be boring. Unfortunately, the school system that we go through oftentimes forces us to read stuff that we don't really find interesting. And that, again, puts a bad taste into our mind. And we don't have to have that when it comes to reading and just learning and expanding our mind. So to fix this, I like to think of what Naval Ravikant says. But we want to follow our passions to actually build specific knowledge. So this is a unique skill set that only you have, and is a combination of the various things that you find interesting. You're not going out and following the various fads. You're going and following your interests and again, building out that skill set. So learning and reading books or videos or podcasts or literally whatever it is on that specific subject matter that you're interested in is going to be the best approach. Then I wish I would have started reading earlier. Like I just started this year and I don't know what it was. I just maybe thought like reading was a waste of my time, or I didn't want to read and YouTube was more stimulating, or I also made excuses like, oh, I'm a visual learner. That's all BS from what I learned from Vertasium. But anyways, figure out a way that you find enjoyable to read. And also remember that literally reading a book is like having a conversation with the author, someone that has experienced so much in their life and has distilled all of their knowledge down into a concise little package that you can consume. There's an infinite amount of knowledge out there and it's just waiting for the picking. And then the things that you learn, you ideally want to be learning in public and using the information that you've learned, curating it and teaching it to others. That's a great way that we can actually use the information and learn and apply it so it sticks in our mind better. Also, by creating stuff on the internet, we attract like-minded people, help other people, and at the same time are now accountable for the things that we're putting into the world and also building up credibility for ourselves. So it just opens up a bunch of different doors. I've only been doing it seriously for like 9 months now, and it's already opened up so much to me. And the risks are very negligent. If you want to learn more about this, I would check out the Almanac of Naval Ravikant. It talks a lot about leverage and risk and accountability and credibility. It's a very, very interesting resource. The next thing is start reinvesting in yourself instead of going out and buying a bunch of dumb stuff. For example, I bought a bunch of beers and would go out to the restaurant. Yes, it's nice and all, but if I took that money and put it towards a passion, for example, learning UI UX or buying books or literally anything like that it can improve my knowledge, it just makes it so much easier and so much better. Oftentimes I would literally just go out and torrent stuff and I would just feel like crap for doing that, like I was lying, stealing, and cheating. Instead, I just put my money where my mouth is and invest in myself. Then I would start utilizing the money that I'm making, again, not buying the dumb stuff, but start actually saving my time by spending money. That's what I've learned that the wealthy really do. They're essentially trying to always buy back their time. A good example is I couldn't put out all these YouTube videos if it was just me doing all of this. I would be so burned out. Like it's a lot more complex than we think. So if I didn't have a team behind me, it would just be overwhelming and I literally wouldn't be able to do this. Like bringing on an editor has saved like over 10 hours every single week for me, and it's invaluable. And another good example is in my personal life as well. I love having a clean house and it's extremely important to me, but I hate freaking cleaning with all my life. So instead, I just hired a cleaner. She comes over every single week and ensures that everything is spick and span. And it's the best of both worlds because I don't have to devote energy or time towards it. We're almost there. Then we have visualizing my future. I wish I would tell myself to start doing this every single day, or at least a couple times a week more often. I created a vision board in first year of university, and my mom introduced me to the concept when I was in high school from the law of attraction, but I just wish I started kind of honing in my mind and my thoughts to prime myself to get the future that I really wanted earlier on in life. Just really asking myself often what I actually want, or if I was to wave a magic wand, how would my life actually look like? And then just again, like drilling into my mind, visualizing that it already has happened, so then it just makes all the decisions that I make on a daily basis much easier and that I'm going in the right direction instead of climbing up a mountain that's completely wrong for me. And last but not least, change can be lonely. Oftentimes we have friend groups and we get into routines with those friend groups. A good example is I had drinking buddies that we had some common interests, but our main common interest is that we wanted to go out, party, and do dumb stuff together. And see, that's not the best friend group to have, in my opinion. And when I was changing on the trajectory that I wanted to go in, I stopped hanging out with these people because I realized they weren't lifting me up, weren't inspiring me. So during that period, it was quite lonely, and And it was a lot of time by myself, thinking and reflecting. And if you want to start making new friends that align with the person that you want to be, good examples are going to be Twitter. This is something that I'm just recently exploring, but it's just so interesting. There's a bunch of basically cool ideas and people spread out all around the world, and you can find people that are literally doing exactly what you want to do. And then you can DM them and make real connections and engage with the content that they're creating. I think it's just a fabulous tool. Also, doing stuff like joining courses that are community focused. Like myself, I joined Ali Abdaal's PTYA Academy. And if not, you can also find company in books. Again, reading books is like having a conversation with the author, and you can at least be somewhat socially stimulated in that sense. Applying all these things to my life have been a complete game changer, and again, have allowed me to really just level up my entire life. But what I've realized is to actually do this, I needed to change my daily routine. Here's a video of exactly how I did this and the various things from start to end that I actually did to improve my daily routine.